Students, in my previous video, I have been discussing about Indian economy before independence. So now continuing that topic further, next point is high rates of taxes. In 1876 and according to Dadabhai Nauroji's calculation, the rich paid about 8% of the national income as taxes while the poor Indians paid 15% of the national income as taxes. Next point is high rates of excise and customs. High excise was collected on matches, sugar, steel and silver and all such commodities. The British imported salt to India by levying high custom duties and thus made it an expensive commodity. Even high duties were imposed on cotton cloth exports from India, whereas the cotton cloth imports from England came to India at much lower import tariffs of about 2.5%. Actually, the British wanted to export India's raw cotton to England and sell its manufactured clothes in India. Next one is industrial policy. The period from 1750 to 1830 was the period of industrial revolution. The British government adopted a policy which made Indian investors lose confidence. Only some light and consumer goods industries were started and no attention was given to the machine manufacturing and heavy engineering and heavy chemical industries and other such basic and key industries. The policy was to send raw materials from India to Britain and sell goods made in Britain to India. Next one is economic exploitation. Initially, the East India Company and later the British government adopted policies which exploited Indian resources. Next point is exploitation of artisans. The East India Company exploited artisans by obtaining goods from them at up to 15 to 40% lower prices and sold them in the world at higher prices and made high profits. Next point is investment pattern. The British made only those investments in India which benefited them. For example, railway and road networks were created to help movement of raw materials and goods for their industry. Even investment in education was made to educate personnel to run British administration, while Indians were prevented from getting technical education. They started colleges and medicine and civil engineering in India as they needed civil engineers for PWD. Now last point is payment burden. Various payments were made to British from India's income which included home charges. The huge amount of money which India paid towards administration, maintenance of the army, war expenses, pensions to retired officers, and other expenses accrued by Britain towards maintenance of her colony were known to be home charges and which were paid for almost entirely by India. Finally, when British left India in 1947, Indian agriculture, industry and trade were devastated. Thank you, students.